again for Manchester City.
Oh, absolutely all over the place. That little ping from Ederson straight down the middle of the pitch. It bounced 3 or 4 times. It got to Jesus, puts it round the corner to Sterling, and City have another chance because Real Madrid's defenders are all over the place.
They are, Manchester City, as they do, just keeping their foot on the accelerator pedal. They all know they've got the 2-goal advantage back again. De Bruyne to take this corner, to be an outswinger from the right-hand side. De Bruyne high towards the back post, and the twisting header, actually it was just a glance really from Jesus. It's kept in though by Cancelo on the left-hand side, back to Bernardo Silva, and then Kyle Walker, go back to Fernandinho in the centre circle. Bernardo Silva's calling for it down here, but Kyle Walker on the halfway line just plays it forward through the middle to Gundogan, and Gundogan rolls a pass to Joao Cancelo, who knocks it through into the penalty area to Sterling, and Sterling now into the box. Oh, surely he was caught by Carvajal. Referee Brick says no. He waves away the appeals. That looked like Sterling was caught by Carvajal, just like the first leg in the Bernabeu. Here's Bernardo Silva just outside the box. Now De Bruyne, it comes back. Kyle Walker's going to try a shot. Courtois goes down, pushes it away, wide of goal, into the full-back position. Gundogan with a naked eye, Dion. Have to say that looked like there was every chance it was a penalty.
Surely that was a definite penalty. I haven't had a chance to see a replay yet, but Sterling's not going to go down 8 yards out on the angle when he has a chance to score.
Not big protests when it wasn't given by the players out there, I would say, as the ball's played forward. On our little television screens here, they might show it again. No, not yet. Real Madrid have got the ball on the edge of their own penalty area, and when Real Madrid have got the ball there, if you're a television director, don't want to be showing action replay.
They don't look comfortable.
Так, ну мы продолжаем то, на чем закончили предыдущие. Болтать мне лень, так что типа бла-бла-бла, бла-бла-бла. Погнали и все такое. Без лишних слов. Coffee and contemplation.
Too quickly because he feels that Sterling and Jesus are such a problem. I'm going to have to stay here.
Throw in for Manchester City. I think the 9:30 at Girona is just underway. Lucky lad who's going to win it.
Oh dear.
Here's Kyle Walker on the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva down the right. Then back towards the halfway line. Then Kevin De Bruyne to Bernardo Silva, and City now just slowing it down if they can. 2-1 on the night to Manchester City, 4-2 on aggregate. And with the scores as they are, as Jesus is caught offside with the ball over the top, it's going to be Manchester City against Lyon in the quarter-final. The one-off match, remember, not 2 legs in the quarter-finals in this mini tournament for the Champions League, and that match would be played on Saturday night as the ball is played across by Carvajal to Courtois. He had to be quick, and Jesus wasn't far away. Manchester City, as a result, have got the ball back. Bernardo Silva just goes back, and then further back towards Rodri, near the centre circle. Rodri, former Atletico Madrid man, here against Real, pulls off a couple of challenges from Toni Kroos, and then De Bruyne, back to Bernardo Silva, who is another former Benfica man, be going back to Lisbon. Long ball to the edge of the penalty area. Varane heads it down. Carvajal pokes it across. Militao passes it out. Asensio passes it forward. Kroos. Oh, in comes the challenge there from Kyle Walker.
Good challenge
on Kroos. He knew all about that. And Manchester City with Sterling to Cancelo. Cancelo into the box now, going one way then the other against Carvajal, and then the challenge from Casemiro, who passes it up towards Benzema. Kroos is almost caught in possession, this time by Bernardo Silva, but was able to hold it off, and Kroos just goes down and feels his right shin. I think that might have been a legacy of the Kyle Walker challenge. But 15 minutes to play. Things looking good for Manchester City to reach the tournament in Lisbon, the finals tournament that we have, this special tournament as a result of the pandemic. Gabriel Jesus still going, and will have a shot, but sends it flying way over the top of the bar, and it rolls across the canvases, over the seats, and right to the back of the lower tier of the stand.
I'm just not convinced with Real at all. Incredibly sloppy in possession. Courtois looks so nervous in his 2 centre halves, Militao Varane aren't helping him with the ball that they're giving him. No, there's no, you know, the ball's at Courtois' feet now in the 6-yard box, and there's no movement for him in front of him. He's got one option.
Real Madrid would have to score 2 goals without reply. And were that to be the case, that would be 4-4, and Real Madrid would be in front on the away goals rule. But Manchester City have the 2-goal cushion. City 4-2 up on aggregate, 2-1 on the night. Kroos. We're in the last 15 minutes, as I say, of this second leg. Asensio now on the right-hand side.
I think the other race has just started.
Taking commentaries from 2 different racetracks tonight. Here's Ferland Mendy on the left-hand side. Back it comes towards Benzema. Benzema, scorer of the Real Madrid goal this evening. Modric twisting. And it's such a feature of the game that Eden Hazard, who has had this injury-hit first season at Real Madrid, has simply not been in the game. Here is Carvajal on the right-hand side. Carvajal left-footed ball across. Kroos just outside the area. Kroos lays it off to Casemiro. Casemiro then curls the ball in towards Benzema, but that's headed up and away by Kyle Walker, who just got there in time. Full stretch that was. Benzema allows the ball to roll and bounce towards the left-hand side. Benzema still going. A little flick from him to Mendy, and then Bernardo Silva's able to work it out against them for a corner to Real.
Yeah, they just can't get that open at the moment. Real, the ball's not falling to them in the right areas. City are working so hard. They're just getting something on it, City, so it doesn't fall to a pink shirt of Real, working incredibly hard, very organised.
After what happened, Dion, in those Champions League games in the knockout stages last season, I'm not counting any chickens. Here comes the corner, comes off the head of Laporte, and will be kept in near the corner flag and cleared away by Kyle Walker, who gets a rapturous round of applause. Indeed, I think that's Benjamin Mendy just down there to our right, who's suspended for this game, who's on his feet, cheering and calling Manchester City to get out after that clearance from Kyle Walker.
I mean, I just see Hazard there, just flip the ball around the corner to Toni Kroos, and I haven't seen once. Hazard is at his best when he's in the middle third, final third, passing the ball, running forward, passing the ball, running forward. I haven't seen him do that once in the game. I don't think he's fit.
No, he really doesn't look absolutely, which, you know, is totally understandable after what hamstring injury, fractured ankle, and then an injured fibula as well. And just wondering what's going on to our right. Just 1 or 2 people standing up, but I think it's all under control. Everything's okay. Bernardo Silva's got the ball and is going to play it back towards the edge of the penalty area. Just make you wonder though, Dion, you know, you've got a talent like Gareth Bale and James Rodriguez, who, for whatever reason, you know, there's obviously things are not going smoothly, have been considered surplus to requirements.
Yeah, I don't think that's anything to do with football, to be honest with you. It's personality clashes, I think.
Mendy playing the ball back into his own half. We've got 10 minutes to go. Manchester City 10 minutes away from knocking out Real Madrid. Asensio, as Real go searching for these 2 goals that they need. They need 2 without reply to turn this tie around. Casemiro to Militao. Now Mendy on the left-hand side. But Manchester City have got everyone behind the ball. This might be the way that the die is cast for the remainder of the match. Real Madrid trying to find their way through. Manchester City threatening on the counter. Kevin De Bruyne is tricked there by Luka Modric, who is going to be shown a yellow card, and that would be Modric out of the quarter-final if Real Madrid were able to find a way through.
Clever play that from De Bruyne, just making Modric hang out a leg, keeping the possession for his team, taking the pressure off. I think that's sterling off, isn't it?
It is, and here comes David Silva. David Silva warmly applauded on by those inside the stadium behind closed doors, making now his final appearance for Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium.
You've got to have some squad if David Silva's on your bench. You've got to have some very good players if he's on your bench.
So David Silva takes up the position, gets an early touch here, and then receives the ball back in the Real Madrid right back position and carries the ball out towards the corner flag, and he's holding off Carvajal, who seems to be all over his back. Indeed, David Silva's shirt is halfway up his back, but no free kick from Dr. Brich.
Yes, come on, Doctor.
Yeah. And,
that was clear.
Oh, a poor clearance. Gundogan plays it back. David Silva's in. Still going. David Silva, the ball runs away from him. The crucial moment and is cleared away to comparative safety by Militao. Luka Modric now. He's bundled over by Cancelo, it seemed, but the referee's allowed advantage to play. Not sure there will be one. Walker is in there to win the ball ahead of Eden Hazard. Zinedine Zidane's going to make a triple change now for the final, 9 minutes or so of the match that are left. Asensio centrally. Marco Asensio playing it through. Casemiro. Has the ball and will pick it up now. Next time the ball goes out, a triple change. By the way, David Silva coming on here 10 years to the day since he made his first appearance here in a friendly match against Valencia.
Wow.
So 10 years of David Silva, and he's on for what looks like, without wishing to tempt fate, the final moments of what would be a great success for Manchester City to knock out Real Madrid. Right, who are they going to take off? Carvajal is being replaced by Lucas Vazquez. Luka Modric is off as well, and it's Federico Valverde, the Uruguayan international, who's going to come on into the midfield for him. And the final change will see Luka Jovic, the young Serbian international forward, coming on for Eden Hazard, who has been not much more than anonymous this evening. Eden Hazard, and as Dion Dublin has said, he actually gets a double hand slap from Zinedine Zidane, walks off with his head bowed there. He would have wanted a better return to England than he's managed tonight, but I think his injuries really have forced the issue.
Yeah, they've hindered him tonight.
So, a triple change for Real Madrid. Let's see if it can work wonders for Zinedine Zidane. Manchester City leading Real Madrid by 2-1, so it's 4-2 to City on aggregate, and we've got just over 6 minutes to play. It is still Juventus 2, Lyon 1 in the other match tonight, the other second leg, which is 2-2 on aggregate, and Lyon are going through on the away goals rule. Lyon would be Manchester City's opponents a week tomorrow. You would hear that, by the way, on 5 Live, that Manchester City match. Indeed, after this, I should tell you, our Champions League and Europa League coverage is going to be a little different because of the current COVID restrictions. We will be providing commentaries from the 5 Live studios instead of at the matches because of the restrictions, starting tomorrow night with Bayern Munich against Chelsea from 8 o'clock on 5 Live tomorrow evening. But here inside the Etihad, it's shaping up to be a very good night for Manchester City, who won the first leg 2-1 and are winning the second leg 2-1 against the 13 times European champions. Indeed, winners 4 times in the last 6 seasons. And here's De Bruyne, who's carrying the ball on towards the edge of the area. Might have been fouled by Kroos. Bernardo Silva chips it across, and the referee, I think, has brought it back for the free kick, just as Bernardo Silva was about to cross.
Yeah, I think he just put that ball into the box. I think the referee allowed him to do that. There was nobody in the box really that was any danger for City, and pulled it all the way back to the push on De Bruyne.
Good refereeing that.
Yeah, it was good refereeing actually. It's sort of 5 yards away from the corner of the D.
Who's going to take this, Dion?
Yes, well, I would just step away and leave. You know what? Tonight I'd leave David Silva.
Yeah, I think it's unless they're going to try and fool all of us.
Yes.
De Bruyne is there as well, but David Silva, we're in the last 5 minutes of his career as a Manchester City player at the Etihad Stadium. Now De Bruyne is lining this up as though he is going to take it, but David Silva is to the right of the ball. He's in decent free kick form, David Silva, and it will be David Silva with the free kick that he curls over the wall, but pulled by the crossbar as well by a foot and a half.
Wow, wasn't too far away at all. As I look at the replay here on my little screen, and Courtois was getting nowhere near that. A couple of yards over the ball on this occasion. Wasn't far away.
It was not far away. Manchester City 2-1 up, 4-2 on aggregate. Real Madrid need to score twice without reply. Here's Benzema on the left-hand side. Mendy with the cross. Oh, Laporte got up brilliantly to head it down and away. That was magnificent defensive play from Laporte.
Very, very good defensive header. He knew there was danger in front and behind him. Had to be strong, had to get it right.
He's been excellent tonight. He's brought a real composure to Manchester City this evening. You know, they've had Laporte, City, and Real Madrid have missed Sergio Ramos so much. He's done all he could. Ramos in the stands, travelling with the team even though he was suspended. But defensive mistakes from Varane, who has such a great reputation. Here's Cancelo carrying the ball in from the left-hand side. Another goal for City now would definitely send them through to the quarter-finals and send Real Madrid out. De Bruyne, middle of the half. De Bruyne rolls it across to Bernardo Silva. Got just over 3 minutes plus added time to play. Pep Guardiola still looks nervous down there, all in beige and brown. Bernardo Silva weaving one way and the other. Finds Gundogan. Gundogan, who's played every minute in the Champions League this season. Ilkay Gundogan. Back more centrally to Cancelo, then Gundogan again, and then Cancelo back towards the halfway line. And City frustrating Real Madrid by keeping possession. And Rodri holding off the challenge from Kroos, who I think was just caught there by Kroos's boot. Maybe on his toe end, something like that, and he's gone down. Oh, it's cramped, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and they're pulling the shin pad out, Gabriel Jesus. And he is being treated, so a little stoppage here. So 2-1 Manchester City lead. Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus, the goal scorers, but errors from Varane for both of them. And the second one, I mean, it was a sort of moonball pass, wasn't it? High up and bounced. He allowed it to bounce. He missed his header, and then on the edge of the area, just poked it back. Varane trying to pass it back to Courtois, but Jesus was in like a flash, and from a tight angle managed to get his shot on target, and it bounced into the back of the net. And it looks like that is going to be the decisive goal unless Real Madrid absolutely come up with something sensational.
Yeah, you have to deal with that as a defender. You know, it's the first rule of defending. Don't let the ball bounce, clear it, deal with it. If you don't do it the first time, do it the second time. He did neither. Looked so nervous. The back four, back three, the keeper, everybody's looked nervous for Real Madrid. Say Johnny's been brilliant tonight, Rodri. Absolutely fantastic. Sat in front of the back two. Bit of protection. He's been brilliant.
Yeah, against that excellent midfield three, Casemiro and Kroos and Modric. So Otamendi is on, and Nicolas Otamendi, as Kroos plays the ball towards the left-hand side to Mendy. We've got just over a minute of the 90 to play. Manchester City are heading through, but Kroos with a pass towards the back post from the angle. That is very cleverly shepherded out by Joao Cancelo. Even though the slide was coming in from Marco Asensio, it was through for a goal kick.
You'd actually think that Pep was down. You know, his team were down by 3 goals. He's shouting, he's on his haunches, he's pointing, he's rubbing the sweat from his brow. He's so animated, making sure everything's done to the letter.
Fernandinho stepped forward into midfield after Rodri has gone off. So Otamendi in there alongside Aymeric Laporte. Yeah, he does, but you know, he strikes me as someone who, you know, has seen enough in football, Pep Guardiola, to never say it's over until the final whistle goes. Mendy playing the ball back towards Courtois. We can be a lot more comfortable watching up here. Courtois lifts the ball and it bounces out of play. Zinedine Zidane comes across. There are 4 minutes of added time. So with a scoreline of Manchester City 2, Real Madrid 1, City lead 4-2 on aggregate. And if Real Madrid are going to turn this around, they will have to score 2 goals in added time without reply. And we're already well into the 4 minutes. We're eating into those final seconds. De Bruyne plays it to the right to Bernardo Silva. Be one of Manchester City's finest European results, one of their finest European performances, if they're able to beat Real Madrid twice over the 2 legs, having never beaten them before in relatively few competitive meetings. But City lose possession. Guardiola's furious at that. The ball breaks forward, but Otamendi is able to get his first touch and turn it back to Ederson. with Luka Jovic being the closest to it for Real Madrid. Then a long one forward towards Jesus. David Silva steps in, and his yellow and pink boots, David Silva. At the age of 34, Silva gets it back again, uses Joao Cancelo, and then Silva with a misplaced pass gives it to Jovic. And Jovic in the centre circle with his left foot finds Benzema on the left wing, but Benzema is challenged by Bernardo Silva, and Manchester City are able to win the ball back. David Silva now inside his own half is able to play it back to Laporte on the edge of the box, and then it's hoisted forward by De Bruyne, but Bernardo Silva was in an offside position even if the ball hadn't bounced out of play for a throw. Just over 2 minutes to play, Dion Dublin.
Yeah, it's incredibly impressive that City, that they play the same way all the time, and when they need to raise their game, playing the same way, but the levels of quality have gone up tonight. The levels of professionalism have gone up tonight. The organisation's gone up a notch tonight.
City just playing the ball back to goalkeeper Ederson. Commentary on the USPGA Golf continues on 5 Live Sports Extra, by the way. We'll be on air till 10:30 tonight. We'll try and get you some reaction. 5 Live Sport on air tomorrow from 12 with Eleanor Oldroyd at Old Trafford. Test match special back on Sports Extra in the morning. And we'll have all of the action from Silverstone, the matches in the Premiership, and as I say, commentary on Bayern Munich, Chelsea tomorrow night. But Manchester City now just a few seconds away from victory again over Real Madrid. Heading for 2 wins out of 2 over the 2 legs. De Bruyne just taking the ball towards the corner flag and then turning and playing it back up the line, and he was actually bundled off the field and has landed almost in the lap of one of the photographers down there next to the advertising hoardings, but he's okay. He's back on his feet. Real Madrid fire it forward, but no one in a pink shirt will reach that. And it is Ederson, the Manchester City goalkeeper, who just very casually and coolly allows the ball to roll back into his own penalty area, and at the very last moment, just as Jovic gets there, will pick it up. Important saves from him, Dion, in the first half, from Benzema and from Hazard as well.
Yeah, just very composed, taking the pressure off his team. It looks like he's had a shot there on goal. And as soon as he kicked the ball that far,
he's larruped it downfield, and it bounces out of play to Courtois at the other end. Courtois spins the ball down. Zinedine Zidane is going to have to account for another last 16 exit for Real Madrid for the second consecutive season. They were one of the victims of Ajax last season, if you remember. A real shock as Bernardo Silva plays it forward down into the fullback position. Gabriel Jesus, scorer of goals in both legs. That'll do his stock and his confidence the world of good, I'm sure. He plays it back towards Bernardo Silva. Now Laporte, just seconds left. Felix Brig has a look, and there is the final whistle. And Manchester City have knocked out the Kings of Europe, as Pep Guardiola called them. He walks across and just gives a little bump of the fists to Zinedine Zidane, who walks away. But what a victory for Manchester City. They've beaten Real Madrid, the record 13 times European champions, both away and at home, by 2 goals to 1, and they've been worthy winners too, and they'll go to Lisbon for the mini tournament to finish off the Champions League this season. Dion Dublin.
You know what, if I didn't know this game was Man City versus Real Madrid, I would never have said that was a Real Madrid side, a Real Madrid performance. Not good enough, very, very sloppy, not enough energy. Kroos and Modric not playing the game in the right areas. Man City tonight, professional performance, game management. The way that he set up his team tonight, Pep Guardiola, was absolutely spot on. And everybody in light blue shirt tonight, and that was sat in the stands, got it spot on.
Pep Guardiola's thrilled with this one, Dion. You can see that, the way he's reacting with his assistants. Hugs down there, his new coach, Juanma Leo, who's not been around for very long. Big smiles, big congratulations. And actually, just as he turns away, he sees Eden Hazard arriving there and puts an arm on the back. But Manchester City, they know that this is some achievement. Talking about coming of age in the Champions League, well, beating Real Madrid twice helps, certainly.
Yeah, and see David Luiz there, the camera's right in his face, thumbs up to the cameras.
Yeah.
High fives as
Farewell to the Etihad for David Silva, who's leaving the field now. Played a little part towards the end of the match, and that's the last we'll see him of him, Dion, here at the Etihad in a Manchester City shirt.
yeah, it's been a pleasure watching him play. Absolute top-notch, world-class player. Rolls-Royce, absolute Rolls-Royce. City were great tonight. They deserve the win.
Yeah,
and deserve to go through.
Rolls-Royce. What do you call those little cars? Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, the two-door
Rolls-Royce.
Yes. Is that the one you've got, the two-door?
Maybe one day. Anyway, what night for Manchester City. Winners tonight by 2-1 against Real Madrid, and they're through 4-2 on aggregate.
What a night for Manchester City. You can hear the sounds of the Etihad Stadium through to the final 8 of the Champions League after a 2-1 win over Real Madrid at the Etihad Stadium. 4-2 aggregate over the two legs. They will play Lyon in the quarter-final in Lisbon. We'll have commentary on 5 Live Sport next Saturday night from 8 p.m. With us, we have the former Manchester City midfielder Sean Wright-Phillips. I saw you punch in the air on the full-time whistle, Sean.
Yeah, I'm delighted for the boys that they worked hard, and for me, they dominated the game. I feel Real Madrid in the first half had a bit of possession where they could have had a few goals, but then after that, it was just City.
One thing we can't hear is the Spanish commentators who sounded like they were paid by the word throughout the night, but we do have our commentary team of Dion Dublin and John Murray. I mean, it seems strange to say it because it's in front of no supporters, but a famous European night, John.
Well, without question, if you want to come of age as a team in European competitions, then beating Real Madrid is one of the ways to do it. And they'd never done that, Manchester City, and relatively, few meetings over the years, because for most of the time they've been operating in different worlds, really. So to win a competitive match time in the first leg all those days ago, all those months ago, and to do it in the way that they did, coming from a goal down, and then to back it up by beating them again here with Real Madrid also having finished the domestic season so strongly and pipping Barcelona for the title, winning the league for the first time for 3 years, and also against Zinedine Zidane's Real Madrid as well, with the great touch that he's had as the coach of Real Madrid, just like he did as the player. The coach when they won it 3 years in a row, to beat this Real Madrid, to beat Zidane's Real Madrid, this is a big part of Manchester City's learning process in this competition, and has to give them even greater belief that they can win it this season.
Sean, yes, there were 2 defensive errors from Rafael Varane, which Manchester City profited from. But on both occasions, the first one where Jesus robs the ball and sets up Sterling, the second one when Jesus scores himself, City don't take advantage of that mistake if Gabriel Jesus does not work so hard to get even the fragment of an opportunity for them.
I agree with that, but that is Jesus. We've seen him do it time and time again, not always to score goals, but to assist them as well. And his work rate throughout the game deserved the assist and the goal. And the way he had the front 3 playing at the top in the first half was perfect, because they all chased, they all run back, they defended, and as you saw folded, he always dropped a lot deeper than them to make the midfield a lot more compact. And in the second half, the game opened up a bit, and I noticed that the Real Madrid midfield wouldn't really follow their runners, so our boys were running off the back of them a lot of the time in the second half.
You know what, Sean? I think that this didn't look like a Real Madrid performance, a Real Madrid team. Hazard didn't really get a touch. Toni Kroos tried to get on the ball. Modric tried to affect the game. Rodrigo. It was kind of lackluster. Maybe City played that well that they made Real Madrid look that way, but it was such a poor performance from Madrid.
Yeah, for me, I can totally agree with you, but I don't think anybody goes and plays against Madrid the way City have to done today. I feel like anyone that plays against Madrid gives them the time and space that they want, but in a way, no disrespect to Real Madrid, Man City went out and just said to him, look, we're just as good as you, so if you think we're going to let you have the ball for this long, you've got another thing coming. And they just pressed at every chance they had. I felt like they set a lot of traps where one would go and the other one would go. And I don't think Real Madrid could deal with that, which was the strangest part for me, because with the quality of players that they have, you expect them to be able to beat the press a lot of the times, which they couldn't.
It has finished, by the way, in Turin. Juventus 2, Lyon 1, so that is 2-2 on aggregate. Lyon then go through to play Manchester City. Much more to come from Sean, from John and from Dion. We're going to break for the news on 5 Live with Nick Hatton.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Preston in Lancashire has become the latest area in the northwest of England to be subject to tougher coronavirus restrictions because of a rise in cases. From midnight tonight, people living in the city will no longer be allowed to visit each other's homes. The measures will be reviewed in a week. Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon says she's furious that 8 Aberdeen footballers broke lockdown rules and visited a bar on Saturday night. They're all now self-isolating after 2 tested positive for COVID-19. Lockdown measures were reintroduced in the city on Wednesday. 101 cases have now been linked to the outbreak in the city. The Unite Union has refused to rule out industrial action at British Airways, which is cutting large numbers of cabin crew jobs to reduce costs in the wake of COVID-19. Staff were told by email today whether they'd be made redundant. The airline says it's critical for its survival. And the Home Office has confirmed that it's considering sending Royal Navy ships to police the Channel. It's one of a number of measures being looked at to deal with the number of migrants trying to cross from France in small boats.
5 Live Sports Extra.
International Test cricket continues. Balls
off edge, caught behind.
After tests against West Indies and one-days against Ireland, England are ready to take on Pakistan in 3 test matches.
Brathwaite is stuck on the pad, bigger field goal, but it's given in. That is Broad's 500th wicket in Test cricket.
And you can hear every ball, every wicket and every boundary with the Test match specialty. England versus Pakistan. The first test live from Old Trafford continues tomorrow at 10:15 on 5 Live Sports Extra. This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome back to 5 Live Sport. What an evening for Manchester City. They've beaten Real Madrid 2-1 on the night and 4-2 on aggregate to book their place in the quarter-finals of the Champions League. They're off to the mini-tournament in Lisbon. We're going to have full commentary next Saturday night from 8 p.m. when they play Lyon for a place in the quarter-finals. Dion Dublin, John Murray and Sean Wright-Phillips are with us on 5 Live Sport. Dion, one of the things you said before the game is that Real Madrid should be prepared for Manchester City. It didn't look like they were, though.
No, I don't know why they didn't know what City were going to do. City always do it. They always play high intensity. They always play and wait for that bad pass so that they can set them traps. But Real played so slowly. They get away with it. As Righty said, they get away with it in their own league. In this league, City and Liverpool are the best at that high press, and they were so sloppy. And as I've said to you, Steve, I don't care who you are, if you're sloppy, when you have the ball at your feet, you take too many touches, you will get caught. It happens so many times for them.
Sean, I never thought that we would talk about atmosphere in a game with no fans, but you could hear the Manchester City coach.
Game to win no matter who it is, where they are in the league. And like Dub said, how were Real Madrid not expecting Man City to come out like that? It's a big game for them. They're going to go and attack them and win. They don't play defensive football, and they just wasn't up to speed with everything that was going on. They were second to almost every ball. The defenders were trying to play out at times which they shouldn't be taking them gambles when somebody's coming at them at like 100 miles an hour. And as we all said, if you make mistakes against teams like this at stages like this, you will be punished, and they got punished twice for it.
I think, Steve, you say strange about the having the atmosphere inside the ground as well, which it was a little bit of a taster, wasn't it, of a reminder of what it's like when you do actually have a little bit of noise inside the ground, and not a moment too late either. But I think certainly the way that one set of staff and supporters, in inverted commas, reacted. I think also helped the others, and I think our Spanish commentary teams in front of us, I think, possibly helped the atmosphere as well inside the ground a little bit.
Yeah, they were superb. Really great to hear. Actually, it did add to the atmosphere, no doubt. But I'm pretty much certain that the players on the pitch could hear their teammates, the subs and the physios and the kit men. They were all around us. There must have been 40 of them. And every time that a City player got a block in, or he sprinted 20 yards and did something good, did something he was told to do, all these staff got up out the feet, and Mendy was leading it. He was clapping. It must be a great feeling for a player to know that everybody's pulling the same way.
And Sergio Ramos was doing his best as well from his seat and his waistcoat with his beard, but I'm afraid they missed him on the field.
Yeah, they did. His leadership was missed so much, you know, and Righty, you'll know this. When you go over the white line, there's always a figurehead that you look to. There's always a captain that's in charge of everything. You looked in, what do we do now? And he wasn't there for Real. You could see it, Righty, couldn't you?
Yeah, you definitely could, especially when the first mistake happened. I don't think Varane knew what to do at the time, but luckily, before his second mistake, he kind of pulled himself back into the game until then. I think after his second, when he was done up, I think he was officially finished.
It was a nervous wreck, wasn't it? And even, you know, Varane as well, they were so nervous at the back. And that made Courtois nervous, because anything on his right foot, he was thinking, what do I do? I've got no... Yeah. If you're playing out from the back, right, if you're playing out from the back, you have to have options and movement. And they just didn't have it.
But it was like every time Ederson got the ball, you would see both centre-backs sprint wide and people sprint into place. They wasn't walking or just getting there. They was making sure they was there. So at any given time, there was a pass on. And I don't think Real Madrid did that all over the pitch. I think the standout performance for me from Real Madrid was Benzema. And I thought the rest of them was like light years away from where they should be at for a game of this magnitude.
Yeah, I agree, Steve. If you play a certain way, like Real play and City play, City's obviously more high intensity. You will lose it. So that's why City beat most comers, because the person on the ball, so many options. Real Madrid had one option, maybe two, not working hard enough.
Just reading some of the messages we've been getting in from City fans. Paul, people will say that we only won because of those Real mistakes, but I think it was an outstanding City performance. JT, fullbacks, midfield, Sterling, Jesus, all magnificent tonight. And David, this was a masterclass from Guardiola and City. Real have no answer to the relentless work rate and enterprise. Jesus, one of many in blue, who's been exceptional. And I think it's so important, Dion, that we pay massive tribute to Gabriel Jesus here. Because if you think back like a good few years now, there was a time when Pep Guardiola stopped playing Sergio Aguero because he wasn't working as hard as he wanted him to work. That Jesus performance tonight is everything that he will need to do to one day replace Sergio Aguero, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, he did everything he did tonight. Jesus was for the team. It's kind of weird because, as you mentioned, Jesus, he came back out. He's already done 2 interviews. He came back out the tunnel and he walked past Hazard. Hazard came out about 30 seconds before him with a big strapping on his left sort of calfy, ankly area, loads of ice there. Hazard limped out. Jesus just walked past him like he hadn't done a stitch tonight. He looks so sharp, so lively. He's doing an interview and there's not a bead of sweat inside.
For me, like he was tremendous, just like Dub said. His work rate was phenomenal, but it's something you see all the time. But now, alongside of it, he started to add more assists and more goals and cause defenders to make mistakes. So everything for me, I feel like is coming together well for him, especially at the right time with, obviously, sadly, Aguero's injury. So if he keeps this going, like you said, one day he will be that guy to replace him.
Yeah. Is it infectious, that work rate as a player, Dion?
It is. It's instilled. It should be instilled by the player. If it's not, it will be instilled by the manager. If it's not instilled by the manager, it'll be instilled by the players around you. They won't accept you working hard. For instance, in this City side, Steve, if there's one player that doesn't work as hard as the rest, then they will find that gap. Every single player that plays for City has to work like that. That's why Jesus got his goals tonight. He nicked the ball, gave it to Sterling, and then he worked his socks off to get himself a goal as well. They all do it, Steve.
Dubs, if you see, like, especially when Jesus did press, he didn't even have to look behind him to see if the team was coming with him. He just knew they was coming. So as soon as he wins that ball off Varane, he already knows Sterling's there. So it's like win the ball, one touch, goal. With some teams, they're always like 2 or 3 seconds behind.
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole idea. The whole idea is there has to be a point and a starting point to the press. It's more often than not the centre forward. Jesus was a centre forward. He has to choose the right time to go off the worst ball to one of his opponents, and as soon as he thinks that player has to take a touch, he goes, and everybody else is in behind him. No gaps to play out.
But that, what you're saying about Gabriel Jesus, that comes from the way that Guardiola wants his front player to play. Do you remember that time when, with Aguero, there was a question over whether he would actually stay? I mean, we're talking years ago now, because he wasn't working as much as Guardiola wanted him to work. But he changed his game. He changed his game and became a
earned more leeway. He will score more goals than Jesus. But Jesus, watching Sergio Aguero, listening to his coach, getting better, that's what he needs to do. Listen, take on board information. And if you watch Jesus tonight, he's listening to his coach, he's doing as he's told, and he'll get his rewards.
By the way, we've got a lineup, like a stellar lineup of interviewees down on the side of the pitch at the moment. If I go from right to left, doing various interviews, we've got Zidane, Hazard, Courtois, Jesus, and Sterling. Wow. All in a row.
Yes, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they could walk into the audience at the Ballon d'Or Awards, couldn't they? All of them.
Ramos certainly could dress like that. He could host it. Actually, through the magic of technology, I can tell you exactly what Raheem Sterling is saying on TV. Here are some quotes from him. Of course, he scored the first goal tonight. Energy, passion. This is a competition we want to do well in. If we play our football, if we run our socks off, the result will come. We know how good they are. We know how good we are. The difference was who would run the most. I thought we were brilliant today. We wanted to be right on them from our pressing. We got 2 goals. He also talked about the fact that this was his 100th goal for Manchester City. A great achievement. Hopefully plenty more to follow. We spoke about this, John, pre-match in terms of when messages are messages, they're not just being said by accident. This whole work rate thing is clearly something that has been really rammed into them.
Oh yeah, but that again is a Guardiola message, and right along with the old from Guardiola, my team. When they lose matches, the whole. Way, and he wants them to work like they did tonight, and lo and behold, you get the results.
And let's get it right as well. If you want to play like Pep Guardiola's teams, it is so hard, so intense. As a player, you get no rest. So what happens, Steve? You get the ball back at pace. You work really hard as a team to get the squeeze right, to get the press right. You get the ball back at pace, and then when you get the ball back, that's when you calm down. That's when you play your football. That's when you become a team player. But getting the ball back has to be done at speed. If you want to get in the City side and you don't want to work, just sit on the bench, kid, because you'll never play.
It was
I don't
a great...
think you'll get on the bench.
Go on, Sean.
I was going to say, I don't even think you get on the bench, Stubbs. If you don't work, I don't think there's that whole either.
No, I agree.
There was a lovely stat that you read out in commentary, John. 10 years to the day that David Silva made his Manchester City debut in a friendly against Valencia. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, that was courtesy of our friends at Manchester City. Actually, Alex, the press officer, told us that.
Right.
I can't claim that was my research. But that's 10 years to the day since he first played at the Etihad.
Guess who was playing that night?
Well, we did actually have a look. And I noticed Joe was playing and Gareth Barry was playing, but I suspect you're going to tell me that.
Well, I'm delighted to say we're joined by Joe. No, Sean Wright Phillips, you were playing.
It's a long time ago. Make him feel old now.
I mean, look, this is the last we're going to see of David Silva at the Etihad. He was your teammate. You were there when he arrived. You played when he made his debut. Just love to have some of your memories of being with David Silva.
It was just like me and Jolien, we spoke about something like when he first came, and we saw his frame. Like he was like, for a foreigner coming over, he was quite slight and nimble. He didn't carry like too much weight, and one of the conversations we had was like, do you reckon he'll be able to handle like the physical side of the game? Because coming from Spain, he's not going to get all those fouls that he used to get at that time that he came. And like after 1 or 2 training sessions, me and Jolien just looked at each other and just said, he's got no problem. He's like a magician. and what's amazed us, I think, more, is he stayed at that level for 10 years, playing the same thing, goals and assists all year round. And I think he's had a tremendous career. And for me, I hope he goes to the next club and does the exact same thing, just not against City.
Righty, has David Silva made players around him better?
Yeah,
not just
definitely.
Foden, not just Foden. I'm talking about, you know, in general, because he sets such high standards by the way he plays the game.
Yeah, most definitely. I think I can give you like not just an example with me, but I think it will relate more to Sterling. Like when I first came through, and I had Al Berkovic in the team with me, and I would just run in a straight line and wait for him to pass the ball. He pulled me aside and he said, make your runs more angled towards the goal and I will find you. And I feel like the same combination has happened with Silva and Sterling, and also KDB's in that bracket. But you can see Sterling had a chance where De Bruyne passed a straight ball and all he did was run in behind diagonally. And I feel like David's a man that will create those situations and teach players, the wingers, these sort of things that will benefit the team and themselves.
Sounds almost Star Wars like that, doesn't it? Use the Force.
So could you literally tell, like, from training session 1 then?
Yeah. You couldn't get the ball off of him. No matter how you came, he always seemed to wriggle like another way. If you went left, he would somehow wriggle with the inside of his left foot to the other side. And even while he was doing that, he could still find a pass. Yeah, everyone says, yeah, he's heads down pressing. He still knows where everybody is on the pitch or where they're roughly going to run to, so he can still get the pass out.
He always comes across as being an incredibly humble guy as well.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. Whenever I get the chance, when I was up there or at games, I would always stop and have a little chin wag and a catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there is the one question about how, you know, Phil Foden hopefully comes through and sort of fills that void. But is there also sort of an influence void to be filled there? Not necessarily in the same way that a big talkative leader has an influence you need to replace, but it's 10 years. Presumably there is still something more than just what he does on the ball that City will lack when he goes.
Yeah, his personality and his personality and his aura around the club when he walks onto the field and when he starts, people know, right, we have to watch David Silva now. David earned those respects from everybody, and the same way he earned them, as good as Phil is, Phil has to do the exact same thing. He has to earn those respects. He has to make people scared of him and let people know what he's about, and that will come in time because, as we can see, he has the ability and talent to do it.
We've got a lovely little scene here, Steve, because Zinedine Zidane has finished giving his interviews and is walking back to his tunnel at just the moment that Pep Guardiola was coming out of the tunnel to do his interviews, and just the two of them, they have stopped, and Pep Guardiola has actually sat down on an ice box that he has there, and the two of them are having a good old chat and actually big smiles, and they've just shaken hands. There's a thumbs up from Zidane. They're still talking as they turn away, and thumbs up from both of them as Zidane heads away down the tunnel out of the Champions League, and Guardiola goes off to do his interviews.
And from there, John goes on to Lisbon.
Yes, he does. Goes on to Lisbon to play Lyon, not Juventus, not Maurizio Sarri's and Cristiano Ronaldo's Juventus, who have gone out on away goals. So again, a lesson for us there when you look at a draw when it's made and you automatically assume that certain teams will go through, and you say that Manchester City will have to get past Juventus and then they'll have to get past Bayern Munich and then they'll have to get past either Bayern Munich or Barcelona. Well, they don't. They've got Lyon next, so they'll obviously be favourites. But I think, you know, it's a worthwhile question to discuss it again about whether will one-off matches in the quarter-finals, semi-finals, obviously the final would have been a one-off match anyway, would that suit them? Would that particularly suit Manchester City?
I think they are well suited to dismiss people in one game. If they can do what they did tonight with that high intensity, that sort of go for it mentality for one game for 95 minutes, I think they're perfectly built for that.
But if you're the better team, the more superior team, and there will be favourites against Lyon, if you're the better team in a tie, you'd prefer two matches, wouldn't you? Because there's a greater chance of you going through over two.
I don't think if you are the greater team, I don't think anybody would want two games. I think because if you are greater, you'd expect to get through in that one game.
Tell you what though, there's a reason Lyon won that tie as well, so there's certainly not going to be any pushovers. Let's bring in Rob Schofield, who was watching that game. Not the result we expected.
Not at all. Lyon through on away goals. Juventus winning 2-1 on the night, 2-2 on aggregate. The crucial goal in the end came very early on. Memphis Depay, a Panenka penalty after 12 minutes. Juventus at that stage needed 3 goals to progress. Depay then conceded one just after the break. A harsh handball given in a wall for a free kick there, and Ronaldo stepped up, smashing home a smock kick to equal the Juventus goal-scoring record for a single season. Juventus need 2 goals to go through. Ronaldo then broke that record in the second half. He was as lethal as Juventus were lethargic in the second half. A rasping strike out of nowhere on the edge of the box. He cut in on his left foot. Anthony Lopez could only palm it in off the post. Juventus need one more. They bring on Paulo Dybala, who's been struggling for fitness recently, but then the game runs away from him. Dybala goes down, pulls up 10 minutes after coming on, and Lyon saw it out. And now we're in a position where Maurizio Sarri's future will be very, very unclear. Huge talking point in Turin, no doubt. 25 years and waiting. Juventus's wait for the Champions League goes on.
Yeah, and from a Lyon perspective, to be honest, I sort of assumed because they haven't been able to play proper football matches that they'd be miles behind, but clearly not. Did they just benefit from the rest, do you think?
I thought the same thing. I thought they'd be lacking for match fitness. I thought by the end of the game they would be struggling, they would look leggy. But I thought they looked really bright and fresh, and football in France was called off in April. This was their second competitive game since March. They had 2 players coming back from ACL injuries, but they showed so much fight in this game. And I suppose when you think about the motives for them, it was a disappointing, acrimonious finish to the season. They lost out on European football with Ligue 1 decided on points per game. Huge uproar within the club when that decision was made. They lobbied to bring football back in France, but they had months and months to focus on this game, and they've got the job done. Rudi Garcia, such an unpopular appointment when he was brought into the club, has led them to a first Champions League quarter-final in a decade.
Rob, thank you very much. That's Rob Schofield. Cristiano Ronaldo unable to secure Juventus a place then in the quarter-finals. Speaking of Ronaldo, different Ronaldo, Gabriel Jesus has just been on TV talking about him. He said, "I've worked to be a great striker. I work every day to be like Ronaldo of Brazil. His quality is different from me, but I have to work to be a great striker. Real Madrid is such a good team. They've loads of good players. They can beat us, which is why we came to the pitch to work hard again. We have to keep working hard. We have to keep running hard." Gabriel Jesus there, who had a fantastic game tonight. I wonder, Sean Wright-Phillips, when it comes to that tournament, that final tournament, you know, City have got players like David Silva who've won massive major international tournaments. They've got Gabriel Jesus, who's won an Olympic gold medal. They've got, you know, Copa America and Africa Cup of Nations winners. Do players who've had major tournament success maybe come to the fore when you almost have that sort of mini major tournament experience to come?
I would definitely agree that their experience in those sort of situations will be vital and needed for the team all around. But I wouldn't say all the time it works that way where they are better in the tournaments than other players that maybe have not had that many opportunities. I feel like sometimes the players that ain't had that many opportunities use it as a chance to show what they're capable of, and they tend to excel in those situations as well.
Let's cross to Ian Carter. PGA Championship, of course, is in its second round. Coverage is on 5 Live Sports Extra right now. Hi, Ian.
Yeah, hi Steve. Tommy Fleetwood round in 64 today, so he's moved into a share of second place, but we're getting very excited on 5 Live Sports Extra because so many of the big names are making good starts. Rory McIlroy with an early birdie, that's got him to 1 under par. The leader is Li Haotong of China, round in 65 today at 8 under par. Fleetwood in second place at 6 under. Jason Day has just moved to 7 under par with back-to-back birdies, and Paul Casey today round in 67, and that means he's at 5 under. News of Tiger Woods, he has parred the opening hole, and that keeps him at 2 under par.
Thank you, Ian. Coverage continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. We still have Shaun Wright-Phillips, John Murray and Dion Dublin with us on 5 Live Sport on the evening that Manchester City beat Real Madrid to book their place in the quarter-finals of the Champions League. I've just been sent this stat now. I know what you mean, John, about the disadvantage in being the inverted commas better team when it's one leg, but Cristiano Ronaldo has now scored 130 Champions League goals, which is more than Manchester City, it's more than Atletico Madrid, and it's more than PSG. So I suspect maybe one way to look at it might be any game which doesn't involve playing him is a good thing.
Oh my God.
That is incredible.
Those stats. Oh my word, the man's just a machine. It's all the hard work he does that people don't see. I sometimes do talk to younger players and I'll say it's the work that people don't see that gets rewarded. That's why he's so good.
Yeah, I mean,
Totally have to agree.
Yeah, so the way it goes from now then is we'll have full commentary next Saturday on Manchester City against Lyon from Lisbon. What do you think is going to happen now then, Shaun? Like, I saw you punch in the air when the full-time whistle went. Do you believe City can go all the way?
Yeah, I do. I think if they press and work as hard as they did over the 2 legs against Real Madrid in each of those games, I feel like their quality will come out after. I think they pressed from the start, and as we saw, the longer the game went on, the more holes that started appearing, the more Kevin De Bruyne got on the ball, the more things were happening for us. So I think if we can match any team's work rate, I think we will be okay in the game and be in a position to create the chances and get on the end of them.
Dion?
You know what? I don't often do this, but I'm going to agree with Righty. I don't often agree with him, but everything he said is absolutely spot on. I just believe that when he needs to get it right, Pep Guardiola, he gets it right. And if his players are on board with what he's saying, they are formidable, absolutely formidable. Being here to watch this performance tonight with really, really good players, the world-class players, willing to work hard in the 85th minute and the 86th minute to get back, Gundogan sprinting back, nicking the ball off Kroos's toe. Just little things like that is what gives you the edge and what makes you the best.
Yeah, as he always says, they want to win every competition that they're in, but you really got the feeling that during the break, during the lockdown, and they were still in the FA Cup at that time, and you know, they had their eyes on both competitions, but I think particularly this, in terms of the way that they're prepared, and I feel that the way that they've been so dominant in the home matches for the most part this season was part of the preparation for this tonight.
I'm trying to find some small positives out of the fact that obviously we won't be in Lisbon. We'll bring you all the commentaries from studios, of course, because of everything that's happening with the coronavirus. I have come up with one, John, which is that if we end up with Manchester City, Barcelona, no Spanish commentary teams.
That is a crumb. That is a
It
crumb.
is. I know it is.
I enjoyed the racing commentary. It was good.
Yeah, it was.
I have to admit, I did laugh out loud when suddenly they burst into life and you said, oh, the 9:30 at Girona's come up. They do add to it, though, don't they? They add to the atmosphere.
yeah,
I'm
no,
sure at some
this-
point you want to throttle them, but
They do, you know. You know, it is a certain style. But I remember, I think it was the Celta Vigo semi-final when we were at Old Trafford, and they were right behind us. I felt like I spent the night in a Turkish bazaar.
John, Dion, thank you very much as always.
Thank you, Steve. Cheers, Righty. Take care, mate.
Thanks, Sean.
Take care, guys.
Thank you very much, Sean. Former Manchester City midfielder Sean Wright-Phillips, who's been with us on 5 Live Sport tonight. Dion Dublin and John Murray. We're at the Etihad. Well, you can't say that Pep Guardiola overthought that. Manchester City approach Real Madrid like they approach.
Ну что ж, на этом все. Спасибо всем, кто смотрел, тем, кто слушал, тем, кто обонял и осязал. Завтра у меня очень